everyone, and thanks for joining us. This is AMECO Haber English Service and you're watching our daily updates. I'm Gaila Damu. Stay tuned. African Union Commission Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Bankole Adwoye, said that the Pretoria peace deal to end the two-year-old conflict in northern Ethiopia is a model for Africa. Abeba Brahani reports.
According to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister AMECO met with African Union Commission Commissioner Adwoye at his office on December 28. During the discussion, AMECO stated that the peace agreement signed in Pretoria, South Africa between the Ethiopian government and the TPLF is a clear indication that the continent's principle of solving its own problem is yielding results. According to him, conditions are improving as a result of the Pretoria Peace Agreement in terms of humanitarian aid and the restoration of basic services in conflict-affected areas. He stated that the Ethiopian government is fully committed to carrying out the Pretoria Peace Agreement. African Union Commission Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Bankole Adwoye, said on his part that the Pretoria Peace Deal is a model for Africa. He disclosed that the peace agreement sets a good example for other African Union member countries and will be presented as an experience at the next African Union Summit in Addis Ababa. The Commissioner praised the practical work done in restoring access to humanitarian aid and basic services to conflict-affected areas following the peace agreement. He finally lauded the government of Ethiopia for its unwavering support for the African Union since its inception.
Peace Minister Binal Fandwalem disclosed that over 106,000 metric tons of humanitarian aid and 1,400 metric tons of medicine have been provided for the Tigray region after the peace agreement. Modomulige has the details.
Binal, who is also a Northern Ethiopian Humanitarian Support and a Rehabilitation Coordination Head, told Ethiopian News Agency that the federal government has been supplying unfettered humanitarian aid after the peace agreement. He pointed out that basic commodities needed for humanitarian aid are being supplied through all the humanitarian corridors of Kobo, Gondor, and Afar Abala without any restriction. According to the minister, after the peace agreement, more than 100,000 metric tons of emergency food was transported to Tigray region and delivered to citizens. He added that the government has demonstrated its determination to implement the peace agreement by providing humanitarian support in cooperation with partners. Binal stated, in addition to humanitarian aid, 1,400 metric tons of medicine and 10,000 metric tons of non-food items have been provided. The minister noted that the government has not only provided humanitarian aid in war-affected areas, but it has also achieved tangible results in the implementation of basic services restoration and reconstruction work. He particularly mentioned that the government of Ethiopia is rebuilding damaged institutions in Tigray region and starting interrupted services. In this regard, Binal stated electricity, telecom, banking, and road infrastructures and service facilities such as hospitals have started providing services. The minister added that some 43 out of 55 towns have already received electricity and the rest will receive soon. Recalling the resumption of air transport from Addis Ababa to Mekelle, Binal also stated that maintenance works of Shire Airport will be completed soon and regular services will resume. 8 slow-net telecom services are being provided in all areas, including Mekelle, the capital of Tigray region.
Ethio Telecom Chief Executive Officer Frehwet Tamro said on December 28 that telecom services have resumed in Mekelle city as promised by the government. Abebe Brahani tells us more.
Briefing journalists on December 28, the Chief Executive Officer explained the activities carried out by the company so far. As promised by the government to restore basic services, telecom services that were interrupted in Mekelle city have started. She added that the telecom infrastructures which were damaged in the war have been repaired through extended efforts. According to the chief executive officer, 981 kilometers of fiber has been repaired and 27 cities in Tigray region have received telecom service. As a result, 61 bank branches have started services in different cities, adding that telecom services have also resumed in Mekelle city on December 28. She noted that the telecom services that started are mainly voice, revealing that activities have been underway to make service shops and other services will begin operation in the future. Frehewat also said that the company is working to extend the service life of SIM cards that have expired in Mekelle city due to being out of service for a long time. Recall that the federal government has been providing intensive humanitarian support and resuming telecom, electricity, banking, airport and other services.
Japan's ambassador Ito Takako said that the official visit of members of the House of People's Representatives and government officials to Mekelle, the regional capital of Tigray, is an important step towards peace in Ethiopia. Modomluye has the details.
Recall that a delegation led by Speaker of the House of People's Representatives Taggese Chafo, comprising ministers, heads of service providing institutions and National Dialogue Commissioners, held a day-long visit to Mekelle city on December 26. Japan's ambassador to Ethiopia Ito Takako said the visit is an important step towards peace in Ethiopia.
And we're very encouraged that after the Pretoria Agreement, there are also negotiations held in Nairobi, Kenya twice for those commandants of both sides. Now today we understand that the House of the People's Representative Speaker together with some members of National Dialogue Commission are visiting Mekelle to observe the situation there, and I think this is another step towards the implementation of the agreement.
She stated that the government of Japan supports the steps taken by the Ethiopian government towards peace. The government of Japan therefore takes it as an important step towards peace and stability in this country. Ethiopia is very important not only for itself but for the Horn of Africa as well, Ambassador Takako said, adding that Japan will support the Ethiopian government's effort in the National Dialogue Commission.
Well, Ethiopia is very crucial country in Africa, not only because it has the second largest population in the entire Africa, but also a very strategic position in East Africa. And when we look into the stability of the region, I think Ethiopia has a crucial significance. And also in terms of the future development of economic cooperation, Ethiopia is having a high potential for business cooperation.
Therefore, we are looking for the stability of Ethiopia and the region as well, she said. Besides humanitarian assistance for northern Ethiopia, Japan would like to strengthen development and cooperation with Ethiopia.
We are supporting those efforts by the Ethiopian people towards the peace, and we are thinking in what way we can help the people. We have already started this assistance for the National Dialogue Commission, and as well as our support for the humanitarian situation in the northern Ethiopia. And we will continue to see what kind of areas Japan can cooperate.
Ethiopia and Japan started diplomatic relationship in the 1930s and signed Treaty of Amity and Commerce. In 1933, Ethiopia established an honorary consulate general in Osaka, while 3 years after, Japan established a legation in Ethiopia. After the Second World War in 1955, Japan restored diplomatic relations with Ethiopia, and in 1958, both Japan and Ethiopia established embassies in each capital.
Ambassadors of Ethiopia and Pakistan have expressed their conviction that the economic and political relationship between the two countries will grow very fast as the Pretoria Peace Agreement between the Ethiopian government and the TPLF heralds peace and stability in the country. Abeba Burhani reports.
In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, Ethiopia's ambassador to Pakistan, Jamal Bakr, said that Pakistani investors have shown a strong desire to invest in Ethiopia in various sectors. The ambassador, who recalled that the past 2 years were very testing times for Ethiopians, added that Ethiopia has now come out of those very challenging times. The first activity they have been engaged was to ensure that Ethiopia's sovereignty and national integrity is maintained. He noted that has actually created confidence in the nation building. According to Ambassador Jamal, the Pakistani government viewed this as important from the very beginning and that Ethiopia has the right to defend its national interest. Pakistan has been standing with the government of Ethiopia during those challenging times and believed that Ethiopia has a capability to address its internal challenges by its own. The ambassador stated that now peace is ensured.
When we have a peace, so there is the foreign direct investment. Basically everyone, nobody is going to invest his money where there is no peace and accountability. So a government now, it creates a ground working for FDI. Even during this difficult time, Ethiopia has attracted a lot of investment. It was very amazing actually.
He elaborated that this means they will have huge foreign direct investment, trade and technology transfer.
This peace ensured means we will have a huge foreign direct investment, trade and technology transfer. So that will, especially as I said, Pakistan's, nowadays we're going to bring a huge delegation. They have got a strong appetite to invest in, agriculture, agro-processing, manufacturing. So there is a huge appetite in this regard. So in the future is quite bright for this country. No one will stop. Ethiopia will start to rise and take its right location in this fast-changing global dynamics.
He stated that Ethiopia from the beginning has been standing for peace, as peace is the only way to achieve democracy and sustainable development. Pakistan's ambassador to Ethiopia, Shahzad Abbas, said the confidence which Pakistan has conveyed to the Ethiopian government is immense, particularly during the crisis period.
Hopefully, in a very near future, I have firm conviction that the economic and political relationship between the two countries would grow very fast. And the leadership will also start exchanging their visits to each other's capital, and that would be instrumental to bring the people's confidence in each other.
Ambassador Abbas pointed out that his country will support the government's effort in the reconstruction and other activities.
Pakistan as a state, independent state and as a close friend of Ethiopia is also willing to extend all kind of support and efforts to the people of Ethiopia and the government of Ethiopia so that we can also contribute in a positive way in your national development.
Furthermore, the ambassador elaborated that if there is peace in Ethiopia, the peace will transcend to other parts of the Horn of Africa. Ambassador Abbas underlined that the divisions and fault lines should be filled with peace and prosperity, with the elements which can bring the people of different parts of the regions close to each other. He stressed that each country in this region needs a very considerate approach towards peace and diverse development.
Amhara Regional State Tourism Bureau on a press conference disclosed that the Bureau is undertaking preparation activities to host guests coming to the region for the upcoming Ganna Ethiopian Christmas and Imqet or the Ethiopian Epiphany. Brown Workana has the details.
Amhara Regional State Culture and Tourism Bureau held a press conference about the activities being underway for the upcoming public and religious festivals in the region. The Bureau has completed its preparedness to celebrate public and religious festivals in the region. In its press conference, Head of Culture and Tourism Bureau Tahir Mohammed said, even though COVID-19 pandemic and the war in northern Ethiopia has affected the sector, the Bureau is diligently working to attract domestic and foreign tourists into the region. Tahir also said January is the month where many public and religious festivals are celebrated across the region. Imqet in Gondar, Irrambuti in North Shore, St. Mercurius Festival in South Gondar, Awi Kabalari festivity in Injbara and Gion Festival in Sakala Woreda are among others.
በጎንደር ጥምቀትን በድምቀት ለማክበር
They are ready to celebrate Tumkat in Gondar, Rambuti in North Shore, Awi Cavalry in Njibara, St. Mercury's Festival in Devratabur, Guan Festival in Sakala, colorfully coordinating with local administrators.
አካባቢው local administration ወይም አካባቢ አስተዳደሩ ጋር በመነጋገር
According to Tahir, the Bureau has discussed with service providers, stakeholders, security bodies and tour guide associations to celebrate the festival peacefully.
የዋጋ ተመን የአካባቢያችን ጽዳት የጸጥታ ሁኔታ በጣም ማተር ስለሚያደርግ
Cost estimation, environmental hygiene and security issue matters tourists in the region. Therefore, the Bureau has evaluated all these things with local administrators so far. Service providers are ready. There is no any kind of security threat in our region to foreign tourists. We are working with our tour guide associations, hotel managers and tourism stakeholders to create comfortable situation to tourists till they back to their home.
ጎብኚዎች በመጡበት ጊዜ ምቹ ሁኔታ ኑሯቸው እንዲመለሱ እየሰራን ነው።
Tahir further stated that in order to elongate the stay of tourists in the region, the Bureau has organized a tourism package that will go together with the festival-like beauty contest to select Miss Amhara to be represented as tourism ambassador of the region. In addition to this, Culture and Tourism Bureau, in collaboration with Gondar City Administration, proposed to organize Azmari Festival, which will entertain the tourists during their stay in Gondar City.
የባህልና ቱሪዝም ቢሮ በዋናነት የሚያዘጋጀው የቁንጅና ውድድርና የሽልማት መርሃ ግብር
Basically, there are events where Culture and Tourism Bureau organize in Gondar City. These are beauty contest and award ceremony. The event will start before the celebration of these public and religious festivals. Events will be informed to the public soon and will be also one event to elongate the stay of tourists in the region. As we know, the region has many writers and artists contributing a lot to the nation. Uniquely, this year we have organized a tourism package like Azmari Festival from Gondar to Purwax.
በልዩ ሁኔታ ለማሰብ የአዝማሪ ፌስቲቫል እና ጎንደር ከተማ ላይ መነሻውን አድርጎ ቡርቧክስ አካባቢውን ጭምር እንዲጎበኝ
In its press conference, Tahir said the Bureau is working to enhance domestic tourism in the region apart from attracting foreign tourists using the social media platforms like Visit Amhara and Explore Amhara. Finally, Tahir calls on domestic and foreign tourists to participate in public and religious festivals to be soon celebrated in January in the region.
ክልላችንም አጠቃላይ ማህበረሰብ አገልግሎት ሰጪ ተቋማት እንግዶቻቸውን ለመቀበል በጣም ዝግጅት ያደረጉ ስለሆነ
Service providers in our region, generally communities, are waiting to welcome domestic and foreign tourists. Therefore, I call on everybody to come and attend public and religious festivals.
ከወዲሁ ጥሪያችን ለማስተላለፍ እንወዳለን።
You're watching AMECO Haber English Service, and now let's proceed to News Beyond Borders. According to the Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics of Egypt, the country recorded a 1.6 million increase in its population in 2022, reaching 104.4 million in December, up from 102.8 million in January. In a statement on Wednesday, the agency confirmed that the capital, Cairo, was still the most populated governorate, with some 10.2 million residing there. The number of Egyptians who reside abroad was approximated to be in the region between 10 to 14 million. According to advisor to the chairman of Central Agency for Public Mobilization and Statistics, Hussein Abdelaziz, Egypt now aims to further reduce the fertility rate to 1.6 births per woman, as CGTN Africa reported. Following 4 successive failed rainy seasons, Kenya is amid the worst drought in 40 years, the UN's Women's Health Agency UNFPA said on Tuesday, shining a light on 134,000 pregnant or breastfeeding women who are reported to be acutely malnourished and in need of treatment. UNFPA and partners are providing life-saving sexual and reproductive health services that bring services closer to those who need them the most. A nurse, Lobe Dedat, told UNFPA during the drought season, they have been carrying out health outreach activities every 2 weeks where they offer antenatal, postnatal, family planning, nutrition and immunization service to the community. During each visit, an estimated 15 to 20 pregnant women receive care, as CGTN Africa reported. One of the world's largest flowers, the rare Titan arum lily, also known as the corpse flower because it mimics the smell of rotting flesh, takes up to 10 years or longer to bloom. Botanists at the Stellenbosch Botanical Gardens in Cape Town say one of their titans is finally unfurling its flowers, and Netanyahu presents CGTN Africa reports.
The entire blooming process takes just 48 hours in total, and then the flower goes dormant. For horticulturists, it has been years in the making.
We've been waiting 15 years for this, and in the last 2 years we've actually repotted it, so it's given it a little bit of extra nutrients that it needed, and beautifully it's actually ended up flowering this year, and we're very, very excited.
The plant is originally from Indonesia, and King says there are around 1,000 individuals left. There are only 2 Titan arum lilies in southern Africa. Titan arum lilies are large plants that can grow larger than 1.5 meters and weigh over 70 kilograms. Their purple and yellow colors are also striking. The 48-hour blossoming is part of a pollination process where a male and female plant each take 24 hours to bloom. This in the wild is a rare phenomenon.
Such a tiny frame or time frame where 2 flowers actually need to be, one needs to be producing female flowers and one needs to be producing male flowers for that to actually happen. And because these are so rare in the wild, it's very, very, very unlikely that actually any successful pollination happens.
For now, the 2 Titan arum lilies situated in southern Africa have both officially bloomed and will go into a complete phase of dormancy. The flowering of the Titan arum lily marks more than a decade of patience for horticulturists at the Stellenbosch Botanical Gardens. It is also one of the most significant events in the floral kingdom.
This is AMECO Hebrew English Service, and now let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate. That's all the news we have for today. I am Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching and stay tuned with the rest of our programs.